Hey guys, welcome back to Total Tailgating at NTP. Today we are going to make, get this, a Chicken Cordon Bleu burger. Now what we've got for this is just about a pound, a half pound each of white chicken meat. And if you know chicken breasts, white chicken meat, one thing we know about this stuff is it is boring. And so what we're gonna do to fix that problem is we're gonna make a chicken cordon bleu, which layers a lot of flavor. And so what we're gonna add to the chicken is some mushrooms here. We're gonna add some Swiss cheese. I'll show you what we're gonna do with that in a minute. And also some ham. So we're gonna get salty sweetness out of the ham. And these two are massive punch of umami ingredients, the mushrooms and the Swiss cheese. So let's get grilling, guys. We've got our grill going full speed. Like I said, we've got all of our elements laid out. The white meat of the chicken is going to get a big splash of flavor, and that's the idea. But first, let's start our patties going. Just gonna set those on the grill. Like so. And the only thing I've done to these chicken patties, because again, we've got plenty of salt. I don't need to add salt to them. We've got plenty of salt coming because we've got this ham that we're gonna add to make the chicken cordon bleu. The only thing I actually added was I took the poultry seasoning. It's a pre-mixed seasoning I bought from the store. It adds a little freshness. It's on the sort of sweeter end of the spicy scale. So I added that, and I added a little bit of fresh cracked pepper to that. And I think that's just gonna dress it up a little bit. Again, we're trying to layer these flavors because white meat chicken is so boring. And I don't know what you guys like to use, but what I like to use are the thighs, the chicken legs. I like to smoke the chicken wings. All of those have a lot of flavor for me. But the breast meat in particular doesn't really do it for me. But I think this is gonna be good when all is said and done. All right, so while those are getting started, let's go ahead, because we've got some fat, we've got the saltiness and the fatness of the cheese and the ham. We want to cut that with a little acidity. So we're going to make a little side salad just really quick to go along with our burgers. And I'm just going to do a small tomato here. And I'm not even going to dice it. I'm just going to slice it up. And that will add a lot of color, actually, and I love tomatoes. I don't know about you, but tomatoes are absolutely fantastic. We won't have any on our burger, but we will have them in our salad. So we'll dice some of those up. A little bit of leaf lettuce. Again, this is just, we're making this for two, my brother and I right now, so we don't need a whole lot of this. So we can go ahead and just take about half the stalk of leaf lettuce. Now, you can dice this up however you want. A lot of people like long leaves. Personally, I do not like the long leaves with the salad dressing on them slapping at my face. So I'm gonna dice this up a little bit, or chop it up just a little bit more fine. And then with that, we're gonna make a simple vinaigrette, okay? Now this is easy to make. All we're gonna need is a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of olive oil, which I don't have a lot left. I think we'll use all of that. We're gonna use some salt, some pepper, a little bit of sugar, and we can go ahead and make that dressing. Let's do that in just a minute. In the meantime, I'm gonna check these and see if they are about ready to maybe do a quarter turn. We don't have color creeping up the side just yet, but I'm gonna get my grill marks going on these and just give them a turn. And you can see it the patty drying out a little around the edge. And that's the other problem with this white meat chicken, is it tends to be so dry. But I think we're gonna fix that today, because we are gonna have melted cheese, mushrooms, and ham to go with it. So, all right, now our vinaigrette. I'm just gonna take what's left of this. I'm gonna do about, and again, I'm not adding a lot of dressing. I just want to flavor it, punch up the flavor a little bit. So I'm gonna be doing about twice as much olive oil as I have vinegar. And I'm just eyeballing it. It doesn't have to be exact. I can always touch it up later if I want to. A couple 3-finger pinches of salt I'm going to put in there. Some cracked black pepper. And I like a lot of that. I like more than some people, I guess. And I'm just going to put about a 3-finger pinch of white sugar in there. I just want to add a little bit of sweetness. Also for sweetness, we are going to add, as you can see, just a simple navel orange, okay? I'm gonna take this and half it, because I know we're gonna use half of this orange a little bit later on. We'll put part of that aside. And then the other half, I see there's no seeds in there, so I don't have to use my other hand and get it messy. I'm just gonna squeeze that in there. And what we're making for ourselves is just a little orange vinaigrette, just a little acidity to cut the fat. And I think that's gonna be really nice with our chicken cordon bleu burgers. Let's give that a whisk. And I'm doing this since, you know, we're doing it out at the grill. I don't want to use any more plates, dishes, bowls, mixing bowls, anything that I have to. So all I'm going to do is take that and drop in my lettuce. And I think I'm going to actually put these tomatoes right in with it. The plan was to maybe set those along the side. I'm going to use my hands now, and I'm just going to mix it up. This is a hand-tossed salad. That's what it's for. And then we'll let that mellow out for just a little bit, let the flavors blend a little bit, okay? So let me just get a little bit of sanitize my hands a little bit there. And I think we're ready to turn our burgers. Let's see how they're doing. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good right there. Let's just give those a flip. Oh, look at those grill marks. Nice. It even makes chicken look decent. But we need more, I think. I think we're gonna need more with that chicken. And what we want to add to this chicken, now I have never done this before. I have heard of it, I have seen it, but I've never actually done it. Here's what we're gonna do, guys. We have taken our Swiss cheese and we have a chunk of Swiss cheese. What we are going to do is bread the Swiss cheese and deep fry it, folks. I think that might add a little flavor to what we're doing here. Okay, so my oil is already hot. So what I'm gonna do is just give this a little bit of a flour bath. Kind of try to get all sides. And what I'm doing here, as you can see, is I'm doing a wet hand, dry hand approach because we've got egg that I want to dip this in. So I'm going to be able to use this hand to dip in any of the wet ingredients, but I'll keep this one out of that picture because we're going to be going back and forth and it's going to get ugly. I can tell you that much right now. Now we've got at the tail end of here is just some simple, this is just cheap cracker crumbs that we broke up. JR broke up for me. Yeah. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to double dip it because I'm going right back to the flour.
Those are like a Ritz cracker.
Yeah, it's just a Ritz cracker, and this isn't even a true Ritz cracker. It's really just an inexpensive one. It's a good way to get rid of those last bit of crackers that you have in your pantry, and you really don't have any reason to get rid of them. And I want to make sure there's my dry hand. I want to try and get a really good crust on this is kind of the idea, okay? There's one. Let's do number two. And I think we're going to double dip as well. I like how that turned out. That is looking pretty good. I can't wait to fry this up. This would make an amazing snack all by itself. But we are going to get our protein, our good lean meat with it, and we're going to have some chicken. And as you can see, this is not a clean job. You can't be afraid of getting messy. All right, we're going to go back to the double. A little more egg, and I am going to loosen this back up because the one thing that will happen with your cracker crumbs is they are going to want to compact together once that egg starts to sink down in there. And it's always good to grab some, cover it up a little bit, pat it down, and I think we are getting to look pretty good there. So they're fairly evenly coated. I do see some cheese that's exposed, and that's what I'm actually trying to avoid at this point, but that's okay. All right, let's give a rinse real quick because it is a messy job to some extent. I think worth it. And we will find out very soon how worth it was. All right, so we've got our oil going. I think we can go ahead and get these on. Now, one thing I want to do with these, I am putting these into deep oil. I'm not actually deep frying them. I'm probably going to have to turn them once. But I want to lay these into the pan so that the tail end splashes away from me just in case any of that oil comes up. And I'm going to check the temperature really quick. A little gauge like this, we talked about it before. We showed you how to calibrate these gauges. This little instant read thermometer is really handy to have, and we should be hitting around 350, a little over. We're going to lose some temperature, of course, once we put the food in there. So we are right on the money. That is looking brilliant. And let's go ahead. I think we're only going to be able to do one of these at a time. Let's go ahead and drop that in there. Oh, and it is going to be able to deep fry in this situation because it's bubbling up over it. This is not going to take long. All I'm looking for is just for that cheese or just for that crust to brown up. As you can see, it's already happening. And smell it from over here. Yeah, and it smells really good. And that is getting there right there. It's getting right to the dark golden brown. That's what we're looking for. Now I should have some paper towels. I forgot to bring those out, but that's okay. We'll just lay that right there and go with the second one. And this is just gonna be fantastic. Again, laying it away from me just in case I get a little extra splatter. And while we're waiting for that one, which won't take long, let's go ahead and check these patties because I want to temp these out. This is chicken. I usually am a little more careful with it. Try to hit 165. We are getting darn close right now. You can see the juices coming off this. This is not going to be dry. It doesn't look like as it stands, but we're still going to dress it up. Look at that. The juices are just dripping off of that. Now our oil has cooled down a little bit, so I'm going to roll this one over, and again, I'm going to turn it away from me, just like so. And that will not need but a few more seconds to be ready. And this looks pretty good, but we need a little more temperature, I think, on that. And I think our cheese is done. Okay, so
Peter Vargas says, "Go Brady, go."
hey, all right. Hey, Peter, how you doing? I hope school is going well. I think you're back in school, I think was the story. I hope the family is doing well. Your wonderful, beautiful children. Your beautiful wife, Jessie. And okay, so now we're ready to, let's temp this out again. And if it's not quite ready, I'm gonna go ahead and close the door. We are gonna rest this chicken, not that you really need to, but we are gonna rest it a little bit while we get our mushrooms going. That's not quite there, that's okay, because we've still got one more element to add to our chicken cordon bleu, which is, of course, well, we've got two more elements, but the one that we need to add now is our mushrooms, okay? Now, very simply, what we're gonna do with this is just get the side burner back up and running. And we're running, okay. Set that, we'll move that to the side. I'm gonna use a little wider pan for this. And people do mushrooms in different ways. A lot of people like to, make sure we're going. A lot of people like to put some bacon in the pan and then cook your mushrooms in that fat. Put some butter in the pan. There's usually some fat involved. I wanna tell you something. That fat is not necessary. If you take these mushrooms, there's a lot of moisture inside. If you just dry pan fry these, they're going to turn out they're going to turn out fine, but there's going to be a different flavor there that you should try once in a while. It's going to have a much nuttier flavor to it, and I think that's going to really add a lot to our chicken cordon bleu. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to throw that in there, crank up the heat.
CJ, that's Swiss cheese. It's a big block of Swiss cheese that we cut down.
And check this out. I mean, you can see what's going on there, guys. We're going to throw that on the burger.
Ooh, it's oozing.
And just sink your teeth into that. It's going to be a thing of beauty. The thing that I'm not sure I did the best job of is these mushrooms are going to take a little bit. I probably should have put them on a little earlier, but that's okay. All we want to do is wait until they break in this case, because we're not creating a roux and adding back moisture in the form of cream, milk, Chardonnay, wine, anything like that. So all we want to do is let them break and let them, and by that I mean sort of start to sweat out their moisture, and then make sure that they're kind of firm but tender on the inside. All right, and while we are waiting for that, and you can hear it, it's starting to sizzle now, so we're not going to have a long time to wait. We're going to throw our ham right on the grill as well. And this is just simple deli sliced ham. I took the slices, cut them in half, and stacked them up, so we'll have some nice slices, a nice amount of ham on there. You want to be able to taste it. And so I think we're in good shape that way. And while that is rolling up and our mushrooms are...
Tim Welsh has come.
Oh, hey, Tim. Good to hear from you, buddy. Let's go ahead and check the temperature on these again. And they are really juicy. I'm actually quite impressed with how juicy these chicken burgers look right now. And a check of our temperature just to make sure our burgers are ready, which they should be just about. And we really don't need to rest this chicken burger. There is really no need for us to do that. Juices are flowing clear. And temperature is right where we want it. I'm going to go ahead and pull these just so they don't get dry on me. And go ahead and assemble these burgers. At this point, I don't see any reason to rest these chicken patties. You know what we forgot for our burgers, however? We forgot buns for our burgers at this point. So here is going to be a bunless, it's going to be an open-faced, chicken patty. But let's just stack that up and see what we get. Because we've got some chicken. Actually, let's put the ham on top first. No, I'm going to put the ham on top of the cheese to help it melt a little bit. And actually inside I do have some bread that we could do with this, but let's turn our grill off. And our mushrooms are now ready. They look really good, actually. Let me just give them a little stir, make sure everything, all the mushrooms did get cooked tender. And that's exactly what you're looking for. And you can see, you don't have the sauce that you would normally have, but these are gonna be just fine. And I'm gonna stack some of those on there. Oh, lots of them, actually. And my entire pantry is actually out of bread at this point, is how that's going to end up working for us. But let's go ahead and just plate these up as they are. We can give this a cut. So we've got our burger with our cheese. We've got a little bit of vinaigrette, a salad with a little vinaigrette to go with it. That's going to cut the fat a little bit. And why not, while we're at it, why don't we just add a nice pickle to that? That's going to be good. I always love to add a little smoke. Everybody has their potato salad with paprika. I like the smoked paprika, and what we're getting out of that is looking pretty good. Now let's see how this looks. I do have a board. I want to... Let's cut into this and see what we've got. And I'm going to cut it on the bias here, or diagonal. And just, let's cut that open, because this is too important to see. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Ham, chicken, ham, melted Swiss cheese in a breadcrumb crust, and mushrooms on top. I think that's going to taste just fantastic. And the fact of the matter is, I want to try it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Let's just take a little bit of this and see what we've got. And again, no bun at this point. I want to make sure I have mushrooms though. And everything is blazing hot, I will say that much. So we have no problem with temperature. It's delicious. I took a big bite. Chicken is really juicy. Could have used a little more ham, or to have added some salt to our patties, one or the other, but this is a very umami flavor. It really fills up your mouth. Has a very satisfying taste to it. It's more like a red meat flavor, really, when all is said and done. This is delicious. I'm gonna have some salad and some potato salad, eat my pickle, and enjoy my chicken cordon bleu burger without the bun. And I hope you guys give this a try, whether you want to use bread or not. I mean, Atkins would be so proud of us right now. But I hope you give this a try. And in particular, try those mushrooms in a dry pan instead, because it really does fill your mouth with a lot more flavor. And it's a really nutty accent to our burger. All right, well, that's going to do it for us for today. We put together a few things for you, and you can see this cheese is continuing to melt down. That is worth...
Yeah, it's desperately
it's
trying
like
to
a
escape.
cheese waterfall. Yeah. Well, I hope you guys give this a try, and we will see you next time. Please keep viewing the show. Share it if you like it, and hopefully we will see you next time on Total Tailgating at NTP.